Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I am Connor Coggins, and this year, Stuart, we've been blessed with 3 Star Trek TV shows. One in the future, one in the mega future, and one in the future of Nemesis, but the past of Picard and the mega past of Discovery. And, in Lower Decks, we got treated with multiple scenes of seeing older technology, other universes, the J.J. Abrams Klingon designs were shown, and a real cluster F of gorgeousness. Even TOS was fully included as canon. But this week in Discovery, we saw something.
Well, we saw a link to the Picard series, and you were absolutely right. You called it. One of Senetal's, or the Tall Trill,
Yes.
one of their past hosts, was a Picard uniform. You said that you would love to see that. It would be a great tie-in. And I said they're absolutely 100% not going to do that because Discovery writers. But you were right, and I got to give you credit for that. And I got to give them credit for that. They supplied us with a character in a Picard uniform. Not a very well-fitting uniform. He's obviously too skinny for the uniform, but that's all right.
This is their chance to show the past, to have other uniforms, especially as a Novos has all the they could easily get one, like you said, not necessarily for the looking professional for the actor, because in all the main shows, each of the uniforms were tailor made to the cast member for the main cast members, and then you'd have a stock of background ones, and then so obviously they always look better because they're always fitted. Whereas if you just pull an extra in, you have whatever. So they could have got the uniforms, but not necessarily been best. But I said, well, even if we're not going to see a First Contact or a TNG, whatever, they just did Picard. They own the Picard license at downright. They own those designs, and I felt like that's the least they could do would be to double down, because then you've got Picard and Discovery and Picard, therefore confirming to the audience, oh no, well, these are all canon, like fully canon, visual canon, because in Picard, to our chagrin, Patrick Stewart looked up and saw a hologram of the Discovery Enterprise, and then the Enterprise D, a flawed 3D model Enterprise D, thereby confirming that at least a version of that Enterprise did exist in Picard's version of the Prime Timeline. Now, obviously, it's canon that the Enterprise became the TOS Enterprise, because obviously it did too, so it was a version. And now in Discovery, we've seen a Picard uniform, which is nothing but a Picard uniform. So now those shows are fully linked.
Well, what I thought when I saw it was, God damn it, I was wrong. Samuel was right, which means I have to admit this.
Probably several times to do multiple videos as well. So
yeah, shut up! Don't remind me again. No, it was fine, and yeah, the fact that they actually thought about that and they did that was actually appreciated. I think it just solidifies for me that the Picard stuff is in the Disco timeline, and yes, I do consider them a different timeline or a different reality in my own mind. So that's my own thing. I don't know if they knew how to dress the character though, because, like I said, it's too big of a uniform, and the captain's bars are way too over towards the center for me, and so is the comm badge. Everything seems a little bit too bunched towards the middle.
Well, and if I just realised, actually, they didn't even need to do what we said a minute ago. They already had 3 uniforms when they filmed the Captain Riker cameo. That's probably just Jonathan Frakes' uniform.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
They had it on set. And this could easily have been an additional reshoot, man, throw him in. And Frakes is a big guy, because you're right, the collar goes up too high on his neck, clearly.
Yeah, it's not tight enough. It's not like Commodore O's. Like, hers was fitted for her, you can tell.
Yeah.
The collar is...
So if this guy's 6 foot and Frakes is 6'3", that would make sense. Close enough, but no cigars. We need to hire a guy that is Jonathan Frakes' build in one day to include him, etc. But obviously here's the comparison, like you said, about the two of them. It's unmistakable. And like I said, they already had at least 2 uniforms because they had some extras in the background of the Gen Hay. There you go. And this version certainly fits a little bit more with the potential new Federation uniform with a top bar, and the fact that this uniform has this badge, comm badge, still for some reason has a slit in it, links to the Discovery comm badge, links to this new Future comm badge. So they're double downing. Obviously, we know the All Good Things comm badge had the slit too, so that's not a huge deal, but it all starts to connect. Which obviously, if this was the DS9 Voyager timeline, we would be very, very, very positive. But the fact that Picard does so many odd things and isn't the best story and hurts the Picard character and hurts the 709 character and hurts the Federation and racism, so many things that show did to hurt the timeline that you can't help but think, well, if this was only the original Rick Berman era, it would have been cooler. Like, they would have thrown in more uniforms if it was him making it, because they would have had them in from like all good, Wesley Crusher's dad's always in the right uniform, except like they already have his uniforms. But well, maybe just like with the Wrath of Khan uniform changing over time, losing the turtleneck and stuff. Maybe as that uniform aged, they moved the badges and stuff close together. I know, as I was doing it. And in fact, though, this brings up to the secondary part of the debate, which is only 5 hosts.
Well, 6 if you count Gray, which is only like for a couple days or a week, we would assume. And
the youngest character there is clearly the Picard uniform, which is $23.99. This is $32. So the symbiont, as they say in this episode, has been in people since $23.99, but no one before, according to this chart. And they even say the names explicitly, so there's only 5. And I don't think those other people are going to be pre that guy, because otherwise it's even more of a jump. You'd have to have that guy be the earliest. And even so, I don't think these people last 120 years each. So I think we both agree they spend time in the pond between hosts. But it does obviously bring into concern how we knew about the Discovery era tech, because Picard era tech is radically not the same as Discovery era tech.
Yeah, they've kind of implied twice now that the symbiote was at least 900 years old to understand the tech of the Discovery specific lines. Now, you made the point that maybe the Picard guy was a historian, he was an engineer that maybe specialized in old tech and maybe knew it from textbooks and holodeck programs and things like that. So,
because if he's a captain in Picard era, he'd presumably be a second in command in First Contact era, a commander. And then, this guy would probably have skipped the Wrath of Khan era costume, because that was when Picard was in the Academy. But he would have been in the Academy in the TNG first season uniform. So he is still from TNG, and so TNG certainly looks back at the past more. So I can imagine they're quite, appreciative. Although the symbiont can be in the pond for hundreds of years. I'm sure the symbiote is 900 years old. It just wasn't out and about. Can symbionts learn stuff? Can it trill symbiote watcher, like put an isolinear chip into the water and it like everyone learns? Is that a thing, or do you have to be in people to learn?
I'm sure we'll talk about the Trill in more detail later, but I think the symbiotes returning to the ponds, they share their information, their knowledge, their wisdom, their experiences with other symbiotes that are in the ponds, and that gets filtered throughout as, when it moves to a new host. I think that's the whole point of the symbiotes, because they make a big point of they're out there learning things, right?
So even more dark with it, we know that the Dax symbiont has a personality that was a serial killer, and those memories were repressed. So perhaps this symbiont, which they called it, was a Tal. So the Tal symbiont, it actually was earlier, and it was a serial killer in pre-TNG. so all of the pre-memories were erased by the newer ones. Wouldn't that be great if we just get a moment in episode 9 where there's a revelation that this symbiont actually had to have mental reconstruction surgery because it was a bastard, and then we get this flashback of every version of the uniform in Starfleet past into Enterprise, and they're all anyway.
Picard and Discovery linked.
Yes, I called it.
And more in Picard and now in Discovery. Yeah, it's a bad thing. It's a good thing. I don't know what it is. It's a thing.
And I bet you that's Frakes' uniform. I bet you that's Frakes' uniform.
I would buy that. Anyway, guys, let us know in the comments what you thought about this. Do you consider the Discoverse its own thing, or is it Prime according to the showrunners? They're the ones in charge. They're the ones that dictate it. So
they're the ones that say the Enterprise is twice the size of the Enterprise.
Yeah, I know.
And they're the ones that say it can fly 800 shuttles inside the bay, even though the bay's only big enough to fit 2. They say that, so they're showing you how knowledgeable they are, because it literally can't do that. There isn't space.
But they know what they're doing. So put it in the comments down below what you guys think, and please make sure you subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell icon, because we have discussions like this all the time, both edited videos as well as lives. So if you want to join us for those, make sure that you're a part of the Team Trekyards family, and a Trekyardian, as we call you guys. So make sure you're joined.
If you want to join us even further, you can use your wallets. The best Trill powers are those with the wallets. No, we guys, we do all this content for free, and we love to do it. We started this channel just to deliver information. As we've grown, we've learned more and become more analytical, etc., etc. But we do need the help of the fans to help us keep doing it. We've done thousands of videos at this point, and dozens during each of these new seasons of television of Star Trek, and they're always deep dives, we've always got graphics, etc., etc. So we rely on fan donations to help us do that, via PayPal, Patreon, join the YouTube channel. They're all great ways. If you come to our lives and Super Chat, that's great, and you can join the channel, direct interaction with that. So many great ways, and even $5 a month on Patreon does make a difference. If you can, please do it. If you can't, thanks anyway.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
I'm Con. See you then.